Today we're at 1250 Bel Air Road, a modern masterpiece currently asking $48 million. So what exactly makes a home worth $48 million? Let's take a look.
Today we're going to talk about a really interesting topic that touches home with a lot of our clients, which is custom home development, either for your own personal use or for investing. I'm going to be joined by one of the top realtors out there, Josh Altman from Million Dollar Listing, and my personal developer in the LA area, Roman James. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the differences that we see in the personal real estate market versus what we're seeing in, Class A commercial right now, for example. Those are two very different markets. So when you're investing in commercial real estate, a lot of times what we're talking about is cap rates, cash flow, what type of quality tenant do we have in there. What you're really interested in is that cash flow that's coming from that property and the longevity of that cash flow. But when you're talking about building spec homes, turning around and selling those 18 to 24 months later, that's a very different animal. So we're gonna get into some of the unique aspects of that, how you do it with two of LA's top best. We're hoping to provide some really good information that you can use when you're looking to develop your next property. Josh, happy to have you here today. Appreciate it. We've got Josh Altman with us today, star of Million Dollar Listing. We are at probably one of the most impressive properties that I've ever seen, 1250 Bel Air. Excited to have you here. We're going to be talking to some of our clients today, entrepreneurs, professional athletes. A lot of them want to know about your success. When I was telling them we were coming out here to talk about the property, very excited about that. But what they wanted to know is, you've been on the show for 10 years now. You, your brother, and your team continue to move up the ranks year after year after year. How do you stay relevant? How do you stay on top?
Not easy. But by the way, thank you for having me on the show. Appreciate it. And yeah, we're actually not only in a property that impresses you, and a property that impresses me.
That's hard to do.
And I've seen a lot. I've sold about $4 billion in real estate. So to impress me these days, it takes a lot. And this is one of the most impressive houses active on the market right now. To answer your question, I mean, look, our brand is very important to us. And just like this house, for instance, it's very important what we do, what we put into it, the money we put into it, the time, the energy. And we also have to be able to move with the trends. And we pride ourselves on being experts in real estate. So just like you study what you do the best in the world, we study the real estate market globally, because it's no longer just a local market. Yeah. Our clients come from, China, Russia, Saudi, all over the world. Or it could just be as close as up, a tech billionaire in San Francisco or a hedge fund guy in New York. So that's really, we have to evolve with the market globally.
That brings up a good point in terms of pivoting with the market. We all know what's going on with COVID right now. What have you done in terms of marketing things during, where you can't maybe do the showings like you used to? Right. What are you guys doing different in today's market?
Well, the game has definitely changed. Yeah. But in times like this, because I was in the business as well in 2007 and 8, for us, we're doubling down on everything. So we have doubled the amount of money that we put towards advertising for the houses. Believe it or not, during COVID, of course, that initial 3 months, when all of us had to stay in the house, of course, the business was dead. It was quiet. But these last 3 weeks, it has gone absolutely through the roof. And there's a couple different factors that feed into that. The rates, of course. Okay, money is very cheap right now, the cheapest I've ever seen it. So for that fact alone, people are spending money. They're going out, they're buying their dream houses. But also the fact that people spend so much time in their house over the past few months, they realize, you know what? We want a bigger house, or we can't afford this house anymore. Let's downsize. We don't need all this space. So there's lots of moving parts where people are out there and they're making decisions to buy one way or another, if it's up or down.
Yeah, that's a great point. Some of our clients are also looking, to buy second and third homes. And when you're looking in this price range, I think whether you're listing or you're looking to buy, I think who you hire is extremely important. I manage a lot of multifamily offices, so we're beyond the traditional stocks and bonds. They bring us into everything. Real estate, obviously, being one of those big things. I'm not a professional in real estate. That's why we're talking to you. We work with the best, bring the best to our clients, guys like Roman. But from that perspective, when you're looking for an agent, if you're looking to buy a 5, 10, 20, $30 million home in Los Angeles, what are some of the questions you should ask when you're interviewing a realtor?
You always want somebody who's an expert locally. So out of the 500 million that I sold last year, probably 200 million of it was from somebody who called me on another listing, walked through the house, didn't necessarily like it for what they were looking for. And then I said, you know what? Hop in my car. I want to show you something else. And we ended up selling that. So you have to have somebody who has other active listings that are also in that same ballpark price-wise. But at the end of the day, you also want to have somebody who knows how to deal with the clientele that you're trying to sell to. And that as a real estate professional is one of the most important things. You have to be able to mirror your client. You have to be able to understand their needs. Because look, I sell everything. I sold a $500,000 condo 2 weeks ago, and I just signed a $100 million listing this week. So it's all over the map, but you got to be able to understand your audience and who you're selling to.
Can you talk about some of that white glove that you, your brother, and your team deliver to those types of clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. We consider ourselves not just real estate agents and brokers. We consider ourselves concierges, high-end concierges. So, when you do a deal with us, if you're not local, we get you everything from the car, the place to stay while you're here, reservations at the hottest restaurants. I mean, you got to realize we have been intertwined in this Los Angeles city one way or another for 20 years. So we know everybody that you need to know and that you should know, and we take it very seriously.
In terms of volume, can you talk about, I know your team just set another record, just talk about what you guys have done over the last year?
We've sold over $4 billion worth of residential real estate over the past decade and a half. We tend to sell 500 million a year in residential real estate. We sell everywhere from San Diego, Newport Beach, LA, all the way up to San Francisco. Our bread and butter, of course, is where we're sitting right now: Bel Air, Beverly Hills, Homely Hills, Hollywood Hills. We're everywhere, and we've actually really embraced social media probably more than most real estate companies do, just because of the stage that we have. I happen to have a TV show that plays in 70 countries around the world called $1 Million Listing Los Angeles. We have almost 2 million viewers an episode, so we use that stage to help sell the houses that we represent. I mean, being on TV is cool and everything, but the real reason we do that is to have that platform where we can give that benefit to our clients.
Of course, and that's a huge opportunity. When we're talking to our clients today, we're looking across multiple asset classes: stocks, bonds, real estate, collectibles, and everything. And what we're finding as an investment analyst, there's nothing cheap out there really. Everything's kind of fairly priced. And so when we're looking to do any deal, and we're talking with Roman, we want to get in with something where we think we have an advantage and we could add it. So I think from that perspective, when we're looking at working with a realtor like yourself, that $1 million listing show, that social media following, that's really an advantage, I think, in terms of the exposure that these types of people are going to get working with someone like you.
For sure. I mean, yes, there's a lot more eyeballs on what we do, which is great, especially when you're selling a house. But you also have to realize the amount of incoming calls that come to us. For instance, last night the show aired. I have about 100 missed calls from around the world of people who saw it and they want to buy or invest in LA, and they call us up. So we've really turned it into a pretty successful machine. But at the end of the day, someone like me who has their ear to the ground, I get to every deal first. Nobody can find more deals than I find, because I'm meeting with people and I'm out there in the field all day, every day. So there's many deals every year that come across my desk where I say, man, if I had the money, I would buy this with a group of people and we would make a lot of money on this deal. So that's kind of where we also have turned the company into a different wing of what we do now as well.
And I know you have a young family. How are you balancing all this for your clients, with your family, and making sure that you're present there for them?
Yeah, I'm really off balance. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and we now have school in our backyard because our school is closed. My wife runs my company as well, and so it's really a family affair one way or another. And it's, you know what, we're doing our best. Like anybody who has young kids out there, we're doing our best. We're learning every day. But I will tell you, the time at home now, because of what's been going on, has been extremely valuable and very important and amazing. It's amazing.
Where are you seeing the biggest opportunity right now? What price range, what area? And then I'll also ask you, what's the thing that keeps you up at night? What's the biggest risk that you see in the market here today?
Got it, got it. So my acid reflex keeps me up at night, most of the nights. You know, I don't look at areas so much as, oh, that's a great place to invest, because we have such a wide reach. It's more about the deal. It's more about the situation of the seller. Maybe it's a divorce. Maybe somebody lost their job. Maybe a company would rather take the write-off and is not so concerned with the loss. So it's not so much a specific area, but the type of deals we look at. I invest heavily in Los Angeles because I'm here, I live it, I breathe it. I like to drive by the places I invest in, feel them, touch the houses. You know, these are real investments that you can touch, which is amazing. So that's where I personally like to do it. Look, I love where we are right now. I think Bel Air is still very undervalued for what it is. And we are seeing some major players come in here right now and invest heavily and double down, just like we have doubled down in our business in places like this in Bel Air.
Guys, I'm here with Roman James. I think by almost every standard, Roman, I know you won't say this yourself, probably the most successful developer in the LA area right now. What's some of the unique things about the homes that you build like the one we're in today?
A lot of things are leaning towards tech, which is really exciting. We do Delos Homes, which is wellness products that's hospital grade air that actually kills COVID as it sits, as it circulates in the air, which is very interesting. We do circadian lighting. We do products like water filtration that's super healthy. So there's a wellness component, and then you kind of put that in with the old brick and mortar, high quality, marble and big glass and great properties and outrageous pools and theaters and AV and speakers, and you kind of roll it all into just a great package. So everybody wants it all. These days at this level, everybody wants it all.
And I know, so I think this one, a lot of them, you bring other investors in, you do a lot of these deals on your own. One of the things that we're talking about to our clients and investors today is the marketplace is challenging right now, no matter how you slice it. I know there's pockets that are doing really well, there's pockets of the economy that are really bad. And what we're seeing in general from our analysis is there's nothing really cheap right now. And I think anything that you're getting into today, you have to have an advantage. You have to partner with people that have an advantage. Yeah. Tell us a little bit from that standpoint, from the investment standpoint of what you're seeing, what you're doing today, how you're adding value.
From the investment side, it's it's one of those things where you got to be on the inside track. And inside track in real estate means you got to deal with a lot of guys like Josh Altman, who's out there every day pounding the pavement. He has pocket listings. He may be dealing with distressed assets. Things where he'll come to me and he'll say, hey, look, you can really make a good score here and a good deal for your investors. Take a look at that. So I'm not even going to say they're far and few between, because they're not. These are challenging times, but there's a lot of opportunity, especially here in Los Angeles, because it's such a great hub of commerce and one of the most desired places to live in the world. Yeah. So we have a global audience here where you probably wouldn't find that even like in San Diego or other great places to live in California, but this is such a hub that I think there's still a lot of opportunity here for the smart investor.
So somebody who's getting in from the investment side and building these, putting a lot of your own money into them, and looking to resell and obviously capitalize on that appreciation. Yeah. Outside of your own instinct and experience, I was talking to Josh, and I think you were saying this is actually a deal that he brought to you.
Yeah.
How much are you relying on guys like Josh and what they're saying in terms of what the market's telling you on the investments that you make?
Well, I really have to rely on those guys, because as much work as we do here, we could spend a couple years on a project, and during those 2 years, the economic climate can change, as you know. So 2 years is a long time. Josh probably has the hardest job of all of us, because no matter what the economic climate is, we're leaning on him now to sell the project. So I really rely on his confidence in a project, saying, okay, I like this, no matter what the economic climate, I'm going to put you in this deal because I feel really confident about it.
Yeah, and I think that's important, because I've been doing this for a long time. We've seen a lot of deals, clients that try to do the things themselves that went really bad, getting with some developers that were, not let's just say not above board. So I think from that perspective, I think it's really important from my view, to lean on these guys who are actually out there talking to the end buyer to sell it. I think sometimes these developers get so much in their own head and building a project that they think is great, and they're coming up with this valuation that isn't necessarily what the market says. So I think that's kind of an important issue that you bring up there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of us is as good as we think we are. You really have to check your ego at the door and look at the market. You have to look at the trends. You have to know your audience. You know, like Josh said, you know, you're designing for housewives and families and single guys that just got divorced, or a guy that just sold his company for $200 million and wants to buy a great house. So you can't really lean towards one group. You really have to make it attractive for everybody. So that's a challenge, but you know, that's what we try to do.
And you kind of never know who the buyer's going to be, right? I think if you're being too specific to a build, that could be probably not the right way to go.
One thing that I think a lot of these realtors have learned, exactly what you're saying, you never know who's going to walk through that door. You never know their history. And granted, we vet some people, or some people are famous. We know who they are before they come. But you know, a lot of people don't, and you know, some of the best sales have come out of nowhere. So you really have to respect who comes through that door.
You know, and I think, and as a young analyst, I think what I talk about to people all the time, we get these guys that come out with the Harvard MBAs and all these things, and that's great. On paper, that pedigree is interesting, and not to minimize that education. But there truly is no substitute for experience, right? And I think what you said is most important is that you made some mistakes. Right? It's making those mistakes before taking other people's money on is really what made you today. And so when you look at that, what are some of the biggest lessons that you learned from in your past?
To answer the question, the biggest lesson I just think is being prepared for the unknown, having contingency. You know, at this level, you're never going to be able to pick everything off in a budget. You're never going to be able to forecast everything. What we try to tell our people is set aside at least a 10 or 15% contingency on your conservative budget, and you should be okay. So I think that's an important lesson. Contingency money, very important. Another thing is, you know, don't start with a small yield. Our pro forma is cost of land, cost of money in construction, multiply that by 2, that's our exit. So we have some room to move. We have some room to move for economic climate. Things can go a little haywire, and they do. And that's, you know, that's the 2 lessons that I really learned. Contingency, make sure you have a big yield at the end. That's you start big. If you start lean, you can only get leaner.
Yeah, that's great information. So when you look into a deal, whether it's this or any other project, what's the typical IRR that you're shooting for?
100%.
100%. Okay. And over what period of time is that?
2 years to 36 months, somewhere in there, depending on the project.
Okay. Okay, in terms of opportunities today in today's market, we talked about COVID, some of the challenges that's bringing up. You're saying you're still finding opportunities out there today. Whether that's a distressed deal, someone who's getting divorced, whatever it looks like, what does the typical deal look like? Where are you finding the most value?
You know, by and large, I think as horrible as COVID has been, you know, to the classes, it's opened up the doors. You know, home building is still essential, so we've been able to work, which is great, and it's great for our particular industry. So what we're finding is, though, now instead of waiting 2 or 3 years, investors, myself, can step into maybe projects that have stalled. Or people decided that they wanted to move, or they're just, you know, they don't have the stomach for it. You have a product now that's halfway done, where we can come in and step in and finish for half the time. And I think that is going to be a big opportunity over the next 12 to 18 months. And candidly, that's where I'm focusing, is either partnering with people that are having a little trouble. We come in, financially prop them up, help them finish. And what's attractive about that is the return happens much quicker.
So we're talking about some of these opportunities that you're finding today. What do you think some of the biggest risks are for someone looking to invest in, you know, luxury homes today, whether it's for personal use, looking to build their own, looking to do it as an investment? Is it more that self-inflicted wound of trying to do it yourself, hiring the wrong builder? I know you've pulled some of these deals away from people who really got screwed from builders who are doing the wrong thing. What do you think some of the biggest risks that people should look out for today?
Biggest risk is getting in bed with somebody who's not prepared or doesn't have the experience or track record. You know, if you try to send yourself to school as an investor, and you may have enough money, enough hay in the barn to make a couple missteps, but you know, by and large, the only thing that really scares me about luxury real estate is not much. You know, I think it'll always do well if it's built well.
Great information, Roman. You know, a lot of, you know, opportunities that people should look for, as well as some of the risks that they should look at when developing a property themselves. But I'd be remiss not to show some people some of the features of this property. Not a lot of people have an opportunity to get inside of a $48 million property, and I want to show them some of the things that are really unique to you and that quality that you really put into each one of your builds, if we can kind of take a look around.
Oh, sure. Happy to do it.
Guys, I know you guys have been working together for quite a while now. How long have you guys been working together?
Almost a decade.
Yeah, long time.
What was the first property that you guys worked on? Do you remember?
There's been so many I don't even remember, but I can just tell you whatever it was big and it was awesome.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, this is big and awesome. How many square feet do we have here, Josh?
On this, we're at 14,000 square feet.
Yeah.
On 6 acres?
6 acres, yeah.
Put that in perspective. Like, what's a typical size lot that you see up here?
Where we are right now is actually really important to understand the value of real estate up here. So just looking out the windows behind us, I mean, very quickly, you have a $130 million house that's going to be hitting the market next month to the right.
Wow.
Right below that, you have an owner user who's already into that house for $80 million, and they haven't even framed out the house yet. And just below that, you have one of the most famous architecturals owned by Michael Bay. And below that, you have the one that just traded for $94 million. And you got the Pritzker estate below as well. So you're surrounded by some of the best real estate in all of the country right here.
Yeah, so 48 million, I mean, it might seem hard to say, but that's actually a relative bargain when you think of what's going to be coming onto the market here. So,
I'll tell you, I see a lot of really good views, right?
Yeah.
From a lot of this amazing real estate. This is actually one of the best views that I've seen because it's right in your face. You get the best of all the worlds here because not only do you have amazing city, you do on a very clear day have the ocean as well, but then you have some epic real estate leading into the city. So it's really the best.
Rob, a little bit about yourself. I know we were talking, you've been doing this for a really long time. When you found this property, you know, just talking to people who are looking to get into development, looking to partner with people like yourself,
Yeah.
what were the 2 or 3 of the key things where you saw this property and said, I've got to build here, this is going to be a big opportunity for myself and my investors?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, Josh is the one that brought me this deal. So if it got through, you know, Josh vetting it, I'm already 90% in because he's a very critical guy.
Sell it. Yeah,
He's a very critical guy. So
Roman, we're buying a property. He said, okay, what are you buying? Don't worry about it.
yeah, we really look for things that are AAA properties. They have nothing wrong with them, and then we come in and we make them as great as we possibly can. And that's your best edge to get a great sale. You know, if you're looking over rooftops or power lines, or you don't have the privacy of neighbors, any one little thing can really trip you up. And at this level, when you're carrying this much cash in a deal, you know, if something sits around an extra month, boy, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you really want to take everything out of that equation right at the purchase. And that's, you know, again, if Josh brings me something, I know all that work's already been done. So what we've got to focus on then is just making a great accent to the canvas. So
Yeah, we always find in this market, especially, if something's done well, people will buy it. It will sell. It's the stuff that they felt they might be able to get away with, not doing it the best of the best. Those are the ones that will struggle. So it's always worth putting in the extra dollar to make sure it's the best of the best. For instance, I mean, what house do you see where it's kind of a spec house, but has a $180,000 television that comes with it?
$250,000.
I'm sorry, 250. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So little things like that go a long way, and that, look, that's what somebody expects when they spend $48 million.
Roman, from an investment perspective, I mean, you're known for high quality, high finishes, and I think to a certain extent that's been some of the success that you've had. But you know, I was looking at some of these appliances, Gagano. I mean, that's the most expensive out there, and there's a lot of other nice options. But why Gagano, for example, on the appliances?
Well, you know, our target is that we want to go after somebody that wants the best. So, you know, if we don't believe in our product, nobody else is going to believe in our product. So we really try to deliver, you know, at the time in the market what we feel is the best products, Gagano being one of them. We have a Sub-Zero panel, the refrigerator behind you. All these cabinets were made in Italy. These counters are bulletproof. You could spill wine, you could spill lemon and cut and dance on these if you wanted to. They're not going to break. You know, there's also some cool features here, like you have automation. That's always kind of fun to show off to your family and friends and makes your life a little bit easier. But You know, these are things that are very important to a a purchaser.
What's the cost of just cabinetry alone in this kitchen, for example?
This cabinetry is about $250,000.
Yeah.
You know, so you bang that up with the appliances and the labor and everything else it takes to put them together. You're looking at upwards of $600,000 or $700,000 for a kitchen. Not every builder or spec builder is going to do that. For me, this is one of the most important parts of the home.
You know, in Roman, here in LA, I think one of the most important things is this, you know, we have this year-round beautiful weather, indoor, outdoor living space. I think you took that to a new level. I mean, the whole back opens up to a magnificent patio, pool. Tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this deck is 120 feet by 16 feet. It's the whole length of the mid-level, which is, you know, the bar, lounge, family room, formal dining, kitchen, all opens out onto this patio. So really, if you have a 14,000 square foot house and you're doing indoor, outdoor to this degree, now this feels like a 20,000 square foot house. It really does. This is the money shot. You want to be able to take advantage of this. So this whole house really plays to the view.
And that's really what, you know, that's what Roman's known for when he builds these houses, is you never hear a creak in the floor when you're walking.
It's amazing.
You understand the solidness of each house that he does. But this is one of my personal favorite parts of the house.
Wait, is that a safe?
That's a safe.
Look at this door.
Yeah,
You gotta close that for effect here. I mean, that's...
This is for the very hard to get Birkin bags.
That's right. Yeah, that door itself is about 3,200 pounds. Give that, you're a big guy, give that a ton.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not light. Yeah, I didn't need to do my lat pulls today.
Yeah.
Josh might want to put his guns on.
Yeah.
And I was warning guys when we started walking down here, if your fiancés, wives, girlfriends, we're going to start to enter the feature that you might want to kind of cut ahead for when we walk into this closet here. This is, well, let's walk in here and take a look at this closet.
Please come to the boutique.
With Hermes, Chanel, tell us about some of the finishes there. I mean, this is an amazing closet, Roman. This is a hers closet.
This is just her closet, and this is you know, by and large, this is a little small compared to most of the ones that we do. But what we try to do is we make the experience, you know, for the woman in the family something special. You know, all our gals work hard. When they come in their closet, it's kind of nice to take a breath of fresh air and wow, kind of feel like, hey, I might be in a great mall or some place where I love to shop and show off some of my stuff to my girlfriends or children and whatnot. So we do that a lot. We try to make them look like boutiques, and I think we hit the mark.
And then we all heard of his and hers vanities. In this place, we've got his and hers bathrooms. This is just the woman's bathroom right on this side of the room.
Just for her. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this. What was the thought process in designing this?
Well, I mean, it's just big and bright, and it takes advantage of the views. Again, it's a very private lot, so who wouldn't want to sit here and get ready for every day in nature and take a look at the city that you're going to go out and enjoy yourself in?
So we're going to walk out to one of the most epic features of this house, the pool. Let's go this way.
I like to call it the pool of dreams.
Yeah, Josh, I'm finishing up. You know, we were saying earlier, we only bring the best of the best to our clients. This guy's too humble. I was asking him some questions about himself earlier. He's not going to tell anyone. Tell our viewers, you know, some of the records that this guy set.
Oh man, how much time do we have?
About 30 seconds.
I mean, look, I will tell you this. One of the most impressive is the fact that Roman built a house, the spec house, that broke the record for the most expensive spec house ever sold in the history of Los Angeles.
Wow.
Just south of $100 million. Also, he broke the price per square foot record in Los Angeles, almost $5,000 a foot.
Yeah, that's right. Not to mention a Hillcrest house in Beverly Hills for $70 million.
Oh, there he goes, tuning his own horn.
He also did sell another one for $70 million. So look, the records get broken all the time when you're dealing with Roman, which is great. And you know, that's why people love him, because you get the best of the best and they expect the best of the best.
Thanks, Josh. We appreciate it. Great having you out
Absolutely.
here. Absolutely excellent tour. We'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
See you,
Roman.
All right. Take care, Josh.
Let's build more.